Hi, this is Ishio and welcome back to Echo, and it seems like we're going to start the final route on this game. We have done Cole, the shy boy, TJ, the good boy, Flynn, the guy who wants to find out the truth, and Leo, the guy who's kinda got a bit too much of a thing for Chase. Chase is our main character, so the only person that's left now is Jenna, the only female of the group, and she's kinda very logical, kinda strong convictions, and her head is firmly on her shoulders. So I'm really not sure what she's going to make of all this stuff that's about to happen. Okay, new game. And we know how the intro works, and we're going to skip forward to where the big decisions start. I knew you'd be back, and here you are, watching this video again. You all come back eventually. Why do you try to run away in the first place? It doesn't matter. Even though you're here, you're going to try and run again. Just stop. Because just like this town, you're only moving in circles. And we're gonna roll on forward to the big decisions. And just for good measure, we're gonna tell Jenna that we're by. That's it. Keep going. So we have this bad situation where we get into a big fight. You know how this all works. They have a friend in the past, Sydney, and he passes away. He supposedly drowns in the lake. And Flynn wants to know exactly what happened because he kind of misses out on a couple of the details. There's a big argument. Everybody goes their separate ways. And so we've done everything else. We're going to follow Jenna and Leo. But this time, yeah, Jenna's like, talk to him. He'll listen to you. But no, we're going to stay with Jenna. I look toward Leo, hunched forward, ears down, looking like an angry gargoyle perched on the ledge of a church. Hold on, Jenna. I turn back around to face her. Huh? I look back over my shoulder at Leo, watching his ears flick toward us. I think Leo wants to be left alone. Jenna folds her arms and looks past me. Are you sure? I thought you could get him to calm down. I look at Jenna for a while, realising that I'd just rather talk to someone more collected rather than a big angry wolf. Yeah, I'm sure. Well, alright. Should we head back then? Okay. Bye, Leo. As we start disappearing into the sagebrush, I look back in time to catch a glimpse of Leo looking over his shoulder. I look back down at the ground, wondering if it would have been a good idea to at least tell him that I felt like he needed time alone. I noticed Jenna looking around, her huge ears perked up wide like sails. What are you looking for? TJ. If it was up to me, I'd be leaving TJ alone as well, but Jenna is always worried about him. I follow her through the brush in silence, unsure of what to say. So why didn't you hang back with Leo? I move along with her for a while, thinking it over. I don't know, when he's in a bad mood, he's really only good for a fight, you know? I catch up and start walking alongside her, since I was starting to taste the dirt being kicked up by her feet. Yeah, thought it would be a good idea to let him cool down for a bit. I sort of envy the way she's dressed right now, with her short shorts and tank top. Jeans don't exactly breathe well. I finally start to see our picnic again. Carl's still sitting in the lawn chair, his head hanging over the back and smoke wafting around him. Jenna stops and puts her paws on her hips, looking around. Where do you think he went? There aren't that many places he could have gone. Her eyes seem to settle, and I follow her gaze to a clump of brush and trees next to the river. If TJ had anywhere to hide in the short amount of time that he did, that would really be the only place that he could have done it. Without a word, Jenna starts in that direction. I tag along awkwardly, kind of feeling like I'm invisible to her right now. As soon as we break through the brush, we spot TJ. I watch as Jenna immediately goes to his side and sits down. TJ's ears perk, but otherwise he doesn't look up. After a while, Jenna wraps an arm around TJ's shoulders. I see him bristle for a second, and Jenna says something to him that I don't quite catch. Finally, he leans in and hugs her, and I can hear him sniffling. I'm starting to feel like I'm intruding, and I start to back away, but Jenna sees me and jerks her head. Where are you going, Chase? Come here. TJ pulls back from Jenna and starts wiping at his eyes. Chase? Oh, yeah. I feel like TJ would be embarrassed to have me around, and he probably is, but Jenna's pretty insistent, so I move forward to stand next to them. I was just telling TJ about the time we used to float the river on the old inner tube. I smile and sit down next to Jenna, stretching my legs out. Do you remember that, Chase? His voice is strained and a little crackly, but he seems to have things under control now. Do I? Always thought it was ridiculous to use one of those things when you could just float on your back. Sorry we're not all living floaties, Chase. We sit there for a while, and now isn't as awkward. I feel like if it were just me and TJ, things would be a lot more tense. Jenna has a way of making things feel natural and easy. It's like her confidence is a shield to all my weird, awkward stupidity. I hear TJ shift and sniffle as he wipes his face again. Sorry guys, I didn't mean... No, you stop right there, TJ. He does stop, and it's not hard to when she has a tone like that. Flynn is an absolute dick. Never let him affect how you feel about things. He only thinks about himself and how he feels. Right, Chase? I feel like that this is just a little bit unfair to Flynn. Yeah, he was pretty selfish, but he did care about other people. At least, I think he does, even though he hardly ever admits to it. Probably best to agree with Jenna right now, though. Yeah, he's just not thinking straight right now. I think coming here might have been a bad idea. That really shouldn't matter. In fact, we probably should have gone to the lake. What happened happened, and there's not much we could do about it. Letting it absolutely rule our lives like this, to the point of preventing us from going where we want to go, is pretty messed up. We all went through it, and it was awful, but we stayed friends, and here we are. Maybe we should celebrate that, instead of accusing each other of bullshit. Yeah. Of course, what Flynn had been saying wasn't complete bullshit. None of us really knew exactly what happened, except TJ. I didn't have any reason to come here, and if I had the same mindset as Flynn, I never would have. TJ glances over at Jenna. How are things with you and, my family? Same as it's been for the past 5 years. I don't know. Maybe you could try. Jenna sighs deeply. Sorry, I didn't mean... No, TJ, it's fine. It's just... She seems to be thinking hard about what she's going to say. Man, the things that Jenna could say about her family, I have too many bad memories about that. That family's completely broken, like, there's no fixing it. Going back there would just mean trouble. I've learned my lesson. With Adam and Dad gone, it's just my mum and Jeremy now anyway. Not much of a family to go back to. Has your dad not... Has anybody not seen him since? As far as I know, no. But I wouldn't really care if he is back. And if he really is missing, well, Mum never filed a missing persons report, so I guess it wouldn't matter. Oh, sorry. Why? You're not the one that messed it all up. TJ looks away, his ears down. Jenna sighs and puts an arm back around TJ's shoulders. And here I am bringing everyone down, when the point was to make you feel better. Chase, remind us of something happy. I jump and then scramble up after being put on the spot. Remember when we called it Ye Your River? I remember when you called it Ye Your Chase. You had a bit of a speech impediment back then. Yeah. I remember that. It's kinda cute. It's quiet for a moment, and then Jenna gives TJ a little nudge. So, how's school going? Not bad. I got accepted into the athletic training program, which is really cool, because they're really selective. I think I'm one of 20 that they chose. Wow, fantastic. TJ smiles, though he's still looking at his feet. Thanks. Hey, but you got into Western. Yeah, I did. I furrow my brow at that. Hey, come on. Western is like the stereotypical best school in the country. She looks over at me and smiles. It's great, I know. It's just a lot of stress. Sometimes I'd like to get a break. That was a little surprising to hear from Jenna. Usually she was so energised and had a get-her-done attitude about almost anything. That's why I assume she got into Western in the first place. Maybe you should take a break then. It's kinda up to you, isn't it? Just because I want it doesn't mean I need it. Hey, Tej, when you wanted to go hiking while we were here? Yeah, I know things are a bit bad right now, but it could be fun to go. Of course, TJ, I was planning to go with you anyway. Oh, cool. At that point, all of TJ's gloomy demeanour disappears, his tail quirked and his ears raised up. Jenna looks sideways at me, meaningfully. Yeah, I definitely didn't want to do that. I'm not even doing anything, and already I'm sweating buckets and looking at the shiny water longingly. I would have jumped in the water by now if TJ wasn't here. For some reason, that would seem inappropriate. Right then, I feel something pressed down hard on my paw, which is splayed out behind me. Looking over, I see that Jenna has her paw on mine, leaning on it. Oh, yeah, definitely. I'll come. Yes. Jenna lifts her paw off mine and I gulp. It didn't really hurt, but something about her suddenly touching me like that. It's settled then. We should probably get back. We want to get a lot of rest before the hike tomorrow. Okay, so we settled and smoothed over the big argument, and we're gonna go for a hike. It is now Tuesday. It's gonna be hot. So, where are we headed, TJ? Jenna sounds like she's in a much better mood than yesterday. We all are, really. Canyon. Echo Canyon, more specifically. Have you ever been? He looks at both of us with a grin. No. No, me neither. His ears fall a little. What? You know the town's named after it, right? How have you not been there before? I shrug, and Jenna laughs. Because you have to walk through 3 miles of snake-infested desert to get there. That makes me bristle, because there definitely are snakes here. I can't help but scan the brush. You really shouldn't worry about that. They're more afraid of you than you are of them, and they do have a rattle, so just listen for it. Jenna grins and looks straight at me. Yeah, you're right. The most dangerous animal you'll find on these paths is the blonde. An involuntary shiver works itself up my spine. Jenna? TJ frowns. That's even less likely, Jenna. Great, now that you said it, I'm going to be all uptight for the rest of the hike. You're welcome. Alright, let's get going. We want to make it to the top by noon. A few hours in, and TJ's quite a bit ahead of us. I feel a little bit bad about it, but I think he likes it that way. Probably wants to think after yesterday. Jenna and I walk side by side, and she's making sure that I drink water the entire time. You should be done with that by now. She gestures at my water bottle, which is still half full. Come on, I've had like 3 already. I take a sip, then almost snort water as Jenna tips up the bottom of the bottle. Hey, I made TJ a promise here. You're an otter, you need it. Ah, stop! Water everywhere. I cough a few times, water running down my chin and chest. Even though it feels good, I wipe it away with a forearm. Jenna chuckles before we start walking again. Actually, you don't really need more water than me or TJ, as he could tell you. The water thing is actually more of a psychological need as opposed to a physical one. Oh yeah? I look over my wet camera bag, which definitely didn't need water. Yeah, you know, back when there weren't really any ethics in research, they separated an otter pup from water, never allowed to swim. Makes me pause. Technically, in this day and age, otters don't really need to swim. A trip to the supermarket gets all that done. But something about not being allowed to be in water, to feel the cool, isolated space that I so longed to be in. Okay, what happened? Depressed, disengaged, neurotic in general. Then, when they were done, they just set him loose into the world. He killed himself a few years later. Wow. Yep, I mean, ethics are in place now, of course. Not that the psychological association's any better. You probably heard about their role in the whole advanced interrogations controversy. Like the waterboarding stuff. Yeah, but it really makes you realise how powerful the brain is. It's not all physical necessities. It must have been pretty awful for him that he killed himself. I can't imagine. Talking about offing oneself, though, it got me thinking about Jenna's brother. So, you wanting to talk about Adam? No. Well, I sort of did, but I don't think that would be appropriate at all. I was just wondering, are you going to go see your family sometime during the trip? We talked about it earlier, but I guess you didn't really give an answer. Jenna snorts loudly, tossing back her head. You're kidding, right? I feel my cheeks flush, knowing that I might have said something really offensive. I'm not really in tune with how things are with Jenna's family. Leo, and sometimes even Flynn, dealt with most of that. I mean, aren't you a little bit curious? Curious is the wrong word. Oh, maybe morbidly curious. Anyway, they haven't bothered contacting me since I left, so as far as I can tell, they're not missing me. Guys, there's a giant dip over here. Watch your step. TJ's quite a bit ahead of us now. I don't even see him anymore, around all the boulders and brush. I pick up the pace and Jenna follows. Well, do you miss them? She doesn't say anything for a while, which tells me she's really thinking about it. No. She says it, finally, surprising me a little with her bluntness. At least, not my mum and dad. Not even Adam. Really? Jenna shifts around as she grabs another water bottle out of the backpack and hands it to me. Adam, he had problems. Mum and Dad fucked him up, of course, but he took it out on me. He did some messed up stuff. I debate whether or not I should ask what exactly that messed up stuff was, but I'm way too scared of what it might be. Jeremy, though, I guess I wouldn't mind seeing him again. I give her an incredulous look. See, Jeremy is the one I would have thought you wouldn't have wanted to talk to. Yeah, now Clint is the one that fucked up Jeremy, but he really was a good person before then. Jeremy was, for as long as I can remember, a royal dick, a bully to me, TJ and Cole. Along with Clint, he terrorised our childhood. That is, until Leo showed up. I'll never forget the day Leo rammed Jeremy's head into a tree and punched Clint so many times in the face his eyes almost swelled shut. Of course, Leo never got in trouble because neither of their parents gave a shit. The environment is really important to how you develop as a person. I think for a second. Well, you turned out alright. Environment and temperament make us who we are. Some people can just take more. It's clear that her temperament was a lot stronger than mine, whatever that was. If I had parents like that, I don't know how I would have survived. I take another gulp of water, and it's then that I realise how badly I need to pee. Looking off to the side, I spot a rather large boulder surrounded by sagebrush. Hey, you go ahead. I've got to take a piss. Jenna quirks her muzzle and folds her arms. Sure you don't want me to wait up for you? I'm kidding. She turns and starts walking up the trail. Watch out for spiders. Sometimes Jenna's jokes were so dry that I had a hard time figuring out if she was really joking or not. I dodge my way around the sagebrush and tumbleweeds toward the boulder and start to piss. Jenna really is an enigma. She's nice enough and smart, but she has this edge about her that always has me on guard for some reason. Fur prickles on the back of my neck. I'm not sure what it is, but something isn't right. I look left and right in the small chance that someone else is coming up the trail. It's weird feeling like this in broad daylight. Normally, I don't get so uptight unless it's dark. I hear it's the opposite with species that can see better at night. Something's watching you from the brush. A shiver runs right up my spine, and I tremble under its influence. As if by my own accord, my head whips around, immediately focusing on a clump of sagebrush 30 feet away. And right there, right in the middle, someone's face is staring at me. I can only call it a face because there are 2 eyes and a mouth, but I've never seen anything like it. It's flat, wide, stretched out, sagging where the chin should be. I can't help myself. I yelp loudly and stumble to the side as I whip my body around to defend myself, somehow conscious of the fact that my dick is still out. Then it all comes together. I stare for a few seconds longer and then force out a tight, high-pitched laugh. Are you fucking kidding me? It's a rock, a white rock, and the sagebrush twigs have fallen over it perfectly to give it features similar to that of a face. I sigh and rub my own face with both my paws, feeling my heart hammering in my chest. I always did this shit to myself. As I lower my paws, I noticed a wet streak coming across the left side of my pants. I hadn't finished peeing yet. Fucking son of a bitch. I hiss and turn back to the boulder, trying to work myself into a peeing mood again. Finally, as I start finishing up, the prickling feeling on my neck starts up again. I try to ignore it, but it's getting worse and worse. I shake my hips around a few times and then zip up and start back around the boulder. It's at that point that I give a quick glance back to the brush. The rock isn't there anymore. I stare, one paw on the boulder, feeling my fur starting to bristle out all over my body. What? Maybe it's because I'm at a different angle now? The feeling of being watched is overpowering though, and it's coming from the other side of the boulder, just where I was at. I look up at the trail, but I don't see TJ or Jenna at all. I can't even hear them. I look back toward the boulder, wondering if I'm losing my mind. Gritting my teeth, I turn away and start back up the trail at a brisk walk, knowing that I'm acting just like a little kid. Despite that, I feel myself start to panic a little, and soon enough I'm running up the trail and I'm not looking back. Made it! He says it, even though he's already sitting down on what looks like a rock bench. He probably got there a good 10 minutes before us. I'm sweating all over the place, but Jenna seems fine. It's embarrassing, because it's only now that I realise she'd been hanging back because of me. Group hug! TJ stands out and holds his paws out. I want to protest because of how gross I must look, but Jenna sort of forces me into it as TJ walks up to us. This is a lot of fun, guys. Thanks for coming. Well, we're glad you had fun, even if you weren't able to keep up. As we lean back from the hug, I see Jenna's nose wrinkle. I press my tail a little closer to my rear. Alright, let's eat. We sit down on the rock bench and TJ starts pulling the sandwiches out from the soft cooler. He'd been so excited about our trip that he'd gone to the convenience store by himself at 5 in the morning and made all of our sandwiches. It's actually pretty good too. There's even avocado on it, even if it's the packaged mushy kind according to him. We eat in silence for a while, and looking over, I can see that Jenna's deep in thought, chewing slowly. What's up? She shrugs and swallows. I'm just thinking about how this might be the last time we really get to hang out is all. That's kind of a sad thing to say. Well, think about it. I graduate in a few months, and then I'll be off to the other side of the country. Then you'll graduate, Chase, and I don't think you'll be sticking around here. Maybe. And you, TJ? You might just leave the country. That would make sense. TJ's parents are back in his hometown. I think we'll get together again. It's just a matter of planning it right. It might be a while, but it'll happen, and there's always the internet. I'm just saying, I hope Flynn can get over himself before the end of our trip. I don't think this should be our big send-off. We still got time. I lean back and drape my arms over the back of the bench, closing my eyes. I really want to take my shirt off though. The fabric is almost soaked through, and it's clinging in a really gross way to my fur. The sun's beating down on me, shining bright red through my eyelids. If only there were a pond up here, I'd be able to sink to the bottom, the sun reduced to a shimmering silver. My type isn't really built for this kind of weather. I feel Jenna shift next to me, and suddenly I feel her nose up against my ear and I shiver a little. The hell's she doing? I start to turn my head toward her. Chase, do you need some musk off? I open my eyes, then squint against the brightness of the sun. What? I said. She leans forward, obviously not wanting TJ to hear. She laughs a little before she starts again. You're smelling a bit strong. Instantly my ears burn, and I scoot away instinctively, lowering my eyes. Ah, shit, sorry. No, it's alright. You didn't know that we were going on a hike before you packed, but I've got some. TJ's looking over at us curiously as he nibbles on his salad wrap. Ears perked, and I don't know why, but I glare at him, already humiliated enough. He frowns. What? Nothing. Jenna's just telling me I stink. Oh. Jenna laughs, then reaches over to her backpack and opens the top zipper, talking in a normal voice now. It's the female brand, so it's not as strong, but it should get the job done. Thanks. I grumble and snatch it from her paw, instantly feeling shitty about it because I know she's just trying to be nice. Even though TJ and Jenna are probably the nicest people in our little group, it's still fucking embarrassing. I'd actually prefer Flynn's ribbing right now. I stalk off around a rather large bush and pull down my pants. The can is pink and covered in flowers. Great. I grab my towel and yank it up before giving my ass a good liberal dose of girl smells. Of course, if I'd known I'd be doing anything so sweat-inducing, I would have brought my own boy-smelling brand. But I'm stuck with this, smelling like a girl in front of Jenna. I guess it's better than nothing. As I come back around the bush, I can tell something's off though. TJ meets eyes with me, then quickly looks down, frowning. I glare. I'd honestly be happier if he just joined in with Jenna and laughed at me instead. She's buried in her phone right now, which is annoying since she told us before the hike that phones weren't allowed. All done? She doesn't even look up, but points at the bag with a foot. Go ahead and stick it in the bag. I sigh and bend over to shove the can back in, and then notice that it's been zipped closed again. Without thinking, I zip it back and widen the gap, immediately find a big furry orange and black spider glaring at me from out the bag. I scream like a fucking girl and jump, dropping the can, stumbling back and falling flat on my arse as I trip over some rocks. I land on my tail wrong and it sends a jolt of pain up my back. Jenna, who already started laughing the moment I screamed, puts a paw to her muzzle. Only one though, because the other is holding her camera phone and she's filming the whole fucking thing. Oh god, you okay? She's still smiling behind her paw. Fine. I guess I have a decision to make, whether to get them mad or just to shrug it off and laugh with them. I'll go with the latter and grin sheepishly. Wow, I'd expect that from you, Jenna, but TJ, what the hell, man? TJ flinches, a sad look on his face. She told me she'd throw me off the cliff if I said anything. Jenna laughs again and puts her phone away before picking up the can and shoving it into the bag. Success! Where the hell did you even get that from? That one rest stop with the souvenir shop. Alright, everyone done. I know you need to get some shots of the canyon chase. Let's go do that. I sit cross-legged next to Jenna, a bit further back than she is, with her legs dangling over the edge of the cliff. I guess someone that's so confident about her life and future isn't worried about falling the 80 feet to her death. It's sort of the opposite of Cole, but with the same result. You know, one good thing about this place is stuff like this. Hanging off the edge of a cliff. Like a people. The mountains. I'll miss that. I hear the mountains back east are small, like hills. Sounds nice too. She picks up a sizable rock and tosses it off the edge, listening to the clatter and echo as it bounces down the cliff. Doesn't really matter though, I'll be living in a big city, way bigger than Peyton. Are you nervous? About living in a big city? No. I'm more anxious to get started with school actually. And of course, I'll miss you guys too. A lot. She flicks her ears back at TJ, who's flat on his back under a tree behind us, snoring lightly. I wipe my forearm across my forehead, the oils from my waterproof fur sliding nastily against each other. Sorry, but I pull my shirt off. I need to let my shirt dry out, it's fucking gross. She looks over at me then, her silver and turquoise necklace catching the light and flashing briefly. Jenna looks perfect, of course. The fur on her face and arms is brushed with delay, held together by some kind of spray, obviously. By comparison, I look like a soggy log covered in wet brown mould. I brush and look down, the bravado I'd worked up to take off my shirt dissipating under her gaze. She doesn't laugh though. I was wondering whether you were going to take that off. It looked really uncomfortable. Oh, yeah, sorry I'm gross. It's not gross, it's just what your body does to survive. Jenna sometimes says things that I suspect carry a lot more meaning than what's on the surface level, but honestly, I'm too dumb to figure it out. I really hope my smell isn't overpowering the spray. But I'm in the middle of leaning to the side to see if I can catch a whiff of my butt musk and I jolt back up. Oh. What was kind of gross is that there was another smell. Oh? Yeah, did you pee on yourself? It takes me a second to register what she just said, and then it hits me, and this time I have to close my eyes out of shame. Of course she was gonna smell that. Foxes can smell fucking everything on you that's happened in the last week. Yeah, I did. She laughs this time and I look away, off into the canyon again. I know it can happen, but it just smells like that it was a lot, so... I sigh and lean back on my paws, letting my head hang back. I debate telling her exactly what happened, since it seems so childish, but it's not like she's being mean. She has a demeanour about her that just makes you want to talk. Must be that psych degree at work. I just saw something that scared me a little, so when I jumped, I got some on me. What did you see? She lays out flat on her back, legs still dangling over the side with her paws behind her head. I guess so she can get a better look at me. I avoid looking right at her, in case she thinks I'm staring. Okay, this is gonna sound stupid, but I just felt like I was being watched. And you know when you psych yourself up and everything looks scary? Of course. So I felt that behind me, and when I looked, I saw what looked like a face in the sagebrush. Just talking about it right now is getting my fur to prickle. I hadn't really thought about it since it happened. And now that I am, it's only now that I'm realising how weird it all was. Oh, like a face she recognised? No, it was sort of like flat, like it didn't have a muzzle, and white. I look back at Jenna, but she's not looking at me. Instead it's like she's looking past me. That is weird. Yeah, but it was a rock. We're wired to recognise faces, so we find them in a lot of things. Yeah, I mean, the twigs and stuff were falling across it in a way that made it look like it had eyes and stuff, but then I realised what it was. But I jumped and got pee on myself, so that's what happened. What's weird is that when I was leaving, I couldn't see it anymore. I say the last part with a laugh, mostly to hide how freaked out I am about it. When I look at Jenna again, I can see the fur on her neck has lifted a little. Was probably just the angle though. You're right. Jenna looks back at me, and I can tell she's debating whether or not to tell me something. I wait. Just made me think about when I was a kid. I hadn't thought about it for years actually. I pause. Wanna talk about it? I'm worried I'm about to open up a can of worms. It wasn't traumatizing or anything like that. Well, it was actually, but it wasn't real. Did you see her face? Yeah, not exactly like yours though. It was more of a red colour, but it was flat too, and that's what made me think of it. Wow. Yeah, it had a body too, but I can't really remember exactly what it was like. Did you dream it? No, not really a dream. At least not in the sense that I was asleep when it happened. I just see it walking around in broad daylight sometimes. What the hell? Are these like real solid memories, like it really happened? I don't know. It usually happened when I was sad or angry, or when Dad was having one of his, moments. I just see it walk past the doorway, or sit in a closet. Really? What the fuck? This was a long time ago, like when I was 5. I don't want you thinking I'm crazy, Chase. I don't. I saw things too as a kid. Yeah, I think you've told me. I had, and it's something I really don't want to think about right now. I'm pretty sure it's just something my mind made up because I was under a lot of stress. The brain can make up whatever it wants, really. It's part of the reason I went into the field that I did. I want to help figure these things out. Do you see it anymore? At all? She's quiet for a while and shakes her head. No. My phone goes off and I jump with a little yelp. Jenna laughs and it breaks the tension a little bit, so I laugh with her. I know you said no phones, but you already used yours, so I think I'll get a freebie. Hey, I had to record your reaction for posterity. Looking at the message, I see it's from Leo. Oh, okay, what's up? Where are you? I stare at it for a second. It seems a little short. Usually Leo throws in a cheesy emoticon for everything. When he's not angry, of course. Jenna notices my expression. What's up? That's Leo. I type out a quick response. We're hiking with TJ and Jenna, and did we forget to tell you that? Almost instantly I get a response. Yeah, you did. He's definitely got something up his ass. Wolfboy getting pissy. Maybe. I can never tell with him. Jenna's phone goes off right then. Ah, speak of the devil. Since it seems like she's inviting me, I lean over to read her phone. What the hell? I feel myself getting a little angry. The fuck's his problem? Jenna gives a little playful smirk as she sits up and puts her phone away without responding. Ah, he's jealous. That gets me flustered for some reason. You think so? That, and he probably wants us all to hang out together, which we should, but we need some time away before we give Flynn another chance. Anyway, we should head back. If we start now, we can grab dinner at the diner by 6. Jenna gets up and goes to wake up TJ, but I'm sort of lost in thought. I feel bad for Leo. Was he mad at me for not talking to him by the lake yesterday? After being out in the desert for so long, it feels absolutely amazing to be sitting in the air-conditioned diner. Having already ordered our food, I lean back against the booth, my eyes feeling a little heavy. So, thanks again for going out with me, guys. It wouldn't have been as much fun if there wasn't anyone around to share it with. Of course, TJ. I had a lot of fun too. I put in my affirmative as well, grinning. I'm sorry you guys had to put up with my slowness and smell. Stop apologising for it. It's like you're a speciesist again with your own kind. I'll be sure next time that we don't do such a long trail. If there is a next time. I hope there is. Maybe. There's not exactly much else to do out here. The thought of hiking again makes my knees weak, but I don't say anything. So, Chase, I got to ask, have you been seeing any guys at Pueblo? That question takes me by surprise and I pause, looking at Jenna, and TJ looks surprised as well, but looks at me curiously. It's been years since you and Leo were together proper. You two were pretty outspoken in all your social media pictures. TJ stirs some from his initial shock at the topic shift and nods, speaking up. Yeah, in comparison to back in the day, you've been pretty quiet on that front. I feel myself cringe inwardly in remembrance of all the kissing selfies and cheesy song quotes we'd post. Leo did most of it, but I was by no means innocent. As of late, I haven't really posted much. Most of the people who are still in my timeline just rant about political stuff. As the two look on expectantly, I feel myself shift in the pleather diner seat uncomfortably. Well, not really. Oh. Yeah, I guess after a relationship as long as Leo and I's, I've kind of been focused on, adulthood. Adulthood's difficult, a reasonable thing to keep you occupied. TJ nods with a broad smile, his big ears flopping a bit. Well, have you engaged in anything more casual since? I feel myself blanch a little before recombobulating, TJ just looking confused, thankfully. I downloaded one of the gay apps for meeting guys. All it really does is make me feel like crap though. I look sidelong toward the links beside Jenna, and he gives me a curious look. People on there can be pretty speciesist. I see a lot of no mustard-a-days, no otters, and no musk types. I met up with a few guys, but it was all pretty awkward and didn't go anywhere. Most didn't look like their profile picture. That's awful. I can't imagine putting yourself up for that sort of thing. He pauses, and then quickly holds up his paws defensively. Meeting someone you like and love organically, I think that's the word, is important. Well, Chase here doesn't have that luxury. According to a study I read, only 1 out of every 25 people are gay. Then the chances of both parties having mutual attraction lowers the compatibility chances even more so. The online component is almost a necessity depending on one's region, Echo seeming to be the bizarre exception. I see TJ's face shift into a guilty expression, the grey feline muttering a quiet "oh" before taking a long drink of water. I uninstalled it though when I visited my parents over Christmas. Haven't had much of a thought to install it back. I think you should reinstall it. I'm actually a bit curious what sort of results you'll get in Echo. My mind reels back to 15-year-old me posting a Photoshop picture of myself on Patent List male for male and the horrible aftermath. I don't know, Jenna. Probably wouldn't get much anyway. Most results would be from Peyton, 30 miles away. Plus, I'm pretty sure I already know the only result is going to be a certain shirtless Gila. Honestly, I hate to sound like one of those podcasts, but something has to be in the water here. First Flynn, Leo, and you. I watched all of you grow up and turn out to like guys. I still remember you sitting on the edge of my bed, sniffling about your parents finding out and how much of a deviant you were. Completely unaware that I had the same sort of conversation with both Flynn and Leo about a year earlier. Oh God. I placed my face into my palm. It's kind of weird, I guess. But now that you're officially bi, your horizons have expanded, yeah? I got to ask, have you been dating any girls? I'm taken off guard, looking back up to Jenna. TJ stops gulping down his ice water. Not really, actually. I mean, I guess you could say I lean toward males more, but it's not like I was about to say that I sometimes look at straight porn when I'm in the mood, but that might be a little inappropriate with TJ there. Hell, it's probably inappropriate to say this in front of Jenna too. Do guys talk about porn in front of girls? It's not like I don't notice girls. I finish the sentence lamely, and TJ just nods. Makes sense. Well, have you ever slept with a girl? Jenna! TJ's face going from cheerful interest to outright horror is so comical. I start laughing, despite Jenna's question surprising me as well. Hey, this is how boys talk, right? I've been hanging out with you guys since 4th grade. Don't exclude me just because I'm a girl. I don't talk like that. Despite TJ's reaction, I'm not too bothered by it. No, I haven't. I kissed a girl once at a party. That was it. Do you want to be with a girl? Just to see what it's like? Now I'm starting to get a little bit embarrassed. Whether TJ's more appalled or not, I can't tell, since he's got his face buried in his paws. Maybe? I don't know. I'm just curious. I'm just wondering why I didn't pick up on this about you before. Jenna grins, and then looks out the window. I notice then, with the way the sunset is lighting up the diner, how pretty her eyes are. It almost looks unnatural, the way they glow. So, I gotta ask you a favour, Chase? I stiffen, wondering what the hell it might be after that conversation. I'm wondering if you could drive me to the mall. I want to get a few things. Oh, sure. What do you need? Jenna hesitates, and for the first time today, she's the one that seems embarrassed. Well, you know, in Pueblo, we don't exactly have a great comic book shop, even though it's huge. Oh, yeah? I wouldn't really know. I never did go to that section of the mall. What's especially lacking is the manga section. I smile. I'd forgotten the way that, after getting her first job, I'd drive Jenna to the mall once a week, and she'd buy her favourite manga. Jenna's still not looking at me, but I grin. Yeah, it would be just like when we were in high school. Have you been keeping up with all those series? I remember being amazed at just how much material was in those books compared to comics, even if they weren't coloured. Jenna looks back at me, and I can see she's a little relieved. Did she think I was going to make fun of her for it? I keep up with it online mostly. This is more for old time's sake. Believe it or not, that mall has some of the happiest memories I have at this place, aside from Leo's house. Of course I'd believe that. I guess there are a few special edition volumes I want to get that they might have. I was always surprised with what they were able to bring in. Well, that's cool. You know, I watched an anime since I last saw you. Oh, what was it? I can't remember the name. Ichirohe? It was a long title, but it was about this old wolf guy that becomes a samurai. Ichinoheyo no Iniru? She says it quickly with what sounds to be like a perfect accent. I did not say that correctly. Maybe. Sounds about right. Jenna makes a face like she swallowed a lemon. It is. It's the only old wolf samurai show I know. You gotta watch some of the older stuff. Anime these days is just, you know... no. Well, we need to do that too. One of these nights, we're gonna marathon Ganbatten Air. The hotel Wi-Fi is good enough for that, I think. It's got this sort of Western-style medieval atmosphere to it. Well, I never really watched anime, even if Ichi whatever wasn't that bad. The idea of staying up late with Jenna watching old foreign cartoons does sound like a lot of fun. Wanna join us, TJ? TJ looks up from his phone. What? Do you want to watch anime with us? Oh, sure, why not? Hey, no phones. I tease him, reaching for it and take it from him. I thought that was only for the hike. I glance over at the screen, expecting to see some Christian social group or something, but instead it's a text from Leo. Yo, Tej, where you at? Hi, Leo, we're hiking. You going somewhere after that? Yeah, the diner. Do you want to meet us there? Is Chase going too? Yeah, he's here. Are you reading my texts? Dude, that's really rude. I look up at TJ, who's glaring at me from across the table. I look back down at the phone. Alright, on my way. Leo's coming. Yep, he's been messaging me all day. Jenna and I look at each other, both our brows raised. What? But that's when Leo's van pulls in front of the diner, and I hear Jenna sigh loudly. Leo's bulky form bounces out of the truck, doing a little jog up to the diner. The bell to the door rings as Leo walks in, all smiles. Hey, Leo. TJ. Leo immediately squeezes into the booth next to me, almost sandwiching me between him and the window. Chase, what's up? He wraps a big arm around my neck and yanks me roughly into a hug, forcing a little squeak out of my throat. See, this is how it should be. We came here to hang out, not to break up into little groups and fight. Yeah, that was Flynn's fault. Jenna says it quietly, eyeing Leo's arm around my neck. Yeah, well, I'm going to get him to apologise. Things take a little bit of time, you know. Jenna doesn't say anything, instead choosing to look over the menu, even though we've already ordered. Did you have fun hiking? Leo turns his goofy tongue-out smile to me. I'm about to answer, but that's when his face changes, and I see his nose twitching. You smell like a girl? His head snaps to Jenna, and it's instantly obvious as to what he's thinking. Jenna, who's looking up now, just smiles sweetly, not trying to explain the situation at all. Leo tenses up, arm tightening around my neck, almost choking me. I forgot my musk stuff, so Jenna lent me hers. Leo looks back at me, and I can tell he's trying to decide whether or not to believe me. TJ, though, for once, chimes in with something useful, cheerfully unaware. Yeah, it was pretty funny. Sorry, Chase. He looks at me apologetically, but honestly, I could kiss him right now. Leo relaxes a little, but his ears are still pointed straight up, a sure sign that he's still tense. Alright, well, next time you go, I'm coming too. Anyway, I'm planning Carl's birthday party tomorrow. What? That's like a month away. Yeah, well, there's not much else to do. Jenna leans back in her seat and folds her ears down. That's really short notice, Leo. Couldn't you have told us before we came so we could prepare? Well, I was planning to do that today, but you guys just took off without telling me. I don't have a gift. Leo rubs his face. We still got time to do that. I just wanted to tell you what's up. We chat for a while longer, and then we get our food. Leo orders a milkshake and hangs out with us the whole time. Usually I'd love to have Leo around, but something about this feels forced and awkward, and Jenna's gone pretty quiet. Leo doesn't let go of my neck the entire time. Oh, Leo, you gotta let it go. And we've made it to Wednesday, and we're going to carry on with Jenna's story in the next episode. This is Usho signing off, and hopefully I will see you next time.